Once I was back on dry land, I coughed up the water lodged in my windpipe. I could finally breathe again, but not without intense chest pain that brought tears to my eyes. I mean, you swallowed ice-cold water into your lungs. That's gonna hurt.
Eureka!
Whoa! Red threw his arms around me.
I'm so glad you're safe.
Red. There in his arms, the pain seemed to melt away. This time it was not my lungs, but my eyes that burned like they were on fire. You saved us. Thank you. He pulled away from me slightly and gazed at me. His eyes seemed damp with emotion. Or lake water, I suppose. No, that's definitely tears.
I'm sorry. Please, allow me to apologize. I'm so sorry, Eureka. I'm not a police officer assigned to protect you. I was lying to you the entire time. As you can see, the truth is, I'm a big bad wolf. I deceived you. Really, I can't apologize enough.
He squeezed his eyes shut. Tears trickled out between his lashes and rolled down his cheeks. I quietly wiped them away. Honestly, I'm the one who should apologize.
Eureka?
I knew you were deceiving me. And I was deceiving you right back. I knew it. Is this just what we do? The guy's like, I'm gonna trick her. And she's like, I'm gonna reverse trick you. And we'll find out who knew all along. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as Cinderella's route. Man, we had a double deception going on. This one was much more hidden, though. Man, that was good. That was really good. I like that there's enough hints with Eureka. Like, she wasn't as blatant about it as she was in Cinderella. So you're like, does she know? Is she playing a part? But there's like little hints here and there, so that was pretty good.
You were?
Yeah. All the harassment that took place after you came to my house, all of it was completely staged. I'm so sorry. I hung my head in shame.
Huh?
Wolf and Ryoshi told me all about you. And after everything I heard, I decided I would take part in their scheme. Not only did I hide it all from you, I took advantage of your kindness. And I can see how much our little stunt has hurt you. I'm really sorry, Red. But what was the end goal of all this? I still don't understand. Like, Red, I still don't really know what his goal was other than, like, trying to make this scenario where he could talk to Ryoshi, but what was our end goal? At this sudden confession, Red fell quiet. I had braced myself for this, of course, but it didn't make the silence any less uncomfortable. I might have really hurt him. The thought was like a knife in my chest.
Well, well. Looks like you've gotten yourself in trouble again.
Just then, I heard a familiar deep voice from somewhere above me. So, will you explain, please? Somebody. What was our goal with this whole stunt, as Eureka put it? I looked up to find Mr. Huntsman, Ryoshi, standing over us with a lollipop in his mouth.
Hey there. Long time no see. How have you been? It's you!
Red pulled me close while glaring daggers up at my brother. No surprise there, I guess. After all, Ryoshi was the true mastermind behind this plot. So it's your idea, and you got Wolf into it, and then Wolf probably gabbed to Eureka, and she's like, I want to be on this too. But what? Okay, I'm glad you're still alive. I was wondering about you. Achoo! Ugh. Don't forget about me, you guys. Wolf looked at us reproachfully as he staggered to his feet.
Wolf!
Up we go. Aw, I'm gonna get sick all over again. And I only just got over my cold. Why'd you gotta lunge at me like that anyhow? You freaked me out, dang it.
He sniffed.
So now that the three of us are all present and accounted for, where shall we start?
We exchanged looks.
What?
Meanwhile, Red was struggling to process this. I'm with Red, honestly. The dramatic tension had evaporated, leaving him blinking, baffled. I pulled away from him slightly to lead things off. First off, let's all introduce ourselves. I'm Eureka Arisu. Next!
I'm Ryoshi Arisu. As you know, I'm Eureka Arisu's older brother, and I work as a hunter.
I like that he just immediately rolls with it.
Last but not least, it's your boy Wolf, the star of the show. I'm Arisu's star-crossed lover and soulmate, and Ryoshi is my mentor and savior. As for Red, he is my childhood friend.
Star-crossed lover and soulmate, eh?
Friends? You and I?
Oh, give me a break! That's what you latch onto? Did you even hear the rest? I mean, how else would you even describe our relationship?
Well, I thought you hated me.
I never said that! Don't jump to conclusions, Dumbo!
I shook my head. Honestly, I can't really blame him. After the blackmail letter and that little tirade of yours, anyone would think you hated them.
What? Dude, are you serious?
Dead serious, my dude. I nodded and Wolf winced apologetically. My dude, you kinda took it a bit too far.
My bad. I started getting all heated partway through.
Do the two of you know each other?
We're friends, duh! Weren't you paying attention?
Wait, so... the male friend Eureka spoke of?
Yep, that was Wolf. Slide.
Earth to Red.
Red seemed to have mentally shut down. Wolf waved a hand in front of his face.
What about that dagger?
Oh, this? It's just a prop knife. A toy. Looks crazy realistic though, huh?
Wolf pressed the tip of the dagger against his palm and the entire blade retracted into the handle. Nice.
Then who ransacked the mansion?
Oh, that was all me!
He raised his hand enthusiastically.
I gotta say, I was pretty worried about overdoing it, you know. But Ryoshi insisted on it.
As I told him, you have to do it like you mean it, or else it won't feel genuine.
I still think you went overboard, personally. I'm guessing you want to know why you were deceived, huh?
Yes.
Long story short, we wanted you to understand. It was like a moral lesson.
Understand what?
We wanted to show you that you're not alone. We wanted you to realize that.
I'm not alone.
Ryoshi and Wolf told me basically the whole story. They were both worried about you. See, you're convinced that you're all alone. And that you have to be. To you, anything else would be a sin. Because this is your self-enforced punishment for the crime you committed. But the truth is, you hate it more than anything. You've always hated being alone. But your integrity kept you from acknowledging that fact. You stubbornly refused to accept it. Then, as the years went by, your loneliness became the status quo. But too much solitude would turn your heart to ice. So we felt we had to save you before you froze over completely. Then I got that blackmail letter from you. So the three of us talked about it, and we decided to use the opportunity to our advantage. That said, not everything went exactly according to plan. I gave a self-deprecating laugh.
Tell me about it! You're such a jerk, Blondie! How the heck did you not recognize me right away? You totally forgot me, didn't you? With all this wolf talk, you think I'd be right at the forefront of your mind, but no! I had to introduce myself like a loser!
No, I didn't forget you. I just didn't recognize you with those nerdy glasses.
What? Hey! Did you just laugh? You jerk!
Pipe down. Enough with the chit-chat. Let's move on.
Was there really no better way to tell him that he's not alone? Why did we do this? Also, how did we know he was the one who sent us the blackmail message? At last, Ryoshi broke his silence in order to land a kick on Wolf.
Ow! Ryoshi, you bully!
Ryoshi jerked his chin in a gesture of, shut up and explain your side of things.
I always regretted the way things went down that day. After you impersonated me to visit my grandma, you just up and vanished from my life. Then I moved back to the big city so I could get surgery, and I never got to say goodbye. You were always on my mind. The surgery was a total success, and I recovered pretty quick. Did you know I can run super fast these days? Things are different now. Nobody holds me back anymore. Even if they tried, I wouldn't let them. So why would I bother coming back to this backwoods podunk town? To find you, Red!
Wolf pointed squarely in Red's face.
Me?
Yes, you! And then when I finally found you, I was so excited. I tried to talk to you, but you ignored me. You ignored me, dude!
What? When was this?
Right when I first moved back!
Uh,
Oh my god, he doesn't even remember.
Look, it's not my fault, okay? It's been years.
I mean, yeah, I get that. Still pretty cold, though. At the time, I was like, dude, this asshole forgot about his best friend. But after that, I ran into Ryoshi again, and he told me what was going on with you. He told me you'd been alone all that time. I never thought for a minute that you'd still be hung up on that stuff to this day.
Oops. It took so long.
You're pretty dumb, you know that?
Gah! You don't have to be so rude about it.
Excuse me? I think I've earned the right to call you names after that. You left me to drown while you ran off to visit Grandma in my place, remember?
Well, yes, but...
Do you know how hard I searched for you after that? I had so much I wanted to say to you, and yet you turned tail and ran. I wasn't mad about you leaving me or impersonating me. I was mad about you ghosting me.
I'm sorry.
Ugh, enough. Ah!
I suck at this. I'm so bamboozled by everything that's happened that I don't know my timing anymore.
At least now we're finally talking again. Years later. I went to visit Grandma myself later on.
You did?
After Ryoshi rescued me from the lake, he took me to the hospital and let me see her. She was in good spirits, actually. She was struggling with a pretty nasty sickness, but she could still talk. So I apologized to her for being such a spoiled brat all the time. But she just laughed and forgave me like it was nothing.
I see.
And then she told me not to take you for granted.
Huh?
She said, he's a good kid, honest and sincere to a fault. That said, he tends to keep things bottled up, and I imagine the loneliness weighs on him a little heavier than most. She wanted me to get stronger so I could be there for you. And she wanted to thank you for the pretty flowers. Grandma! Is that you, little wolf? Yeah, it's me, your grandson, Wolf. Grandma, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I'm such a stupid, spoiled brat all the time. That's all right. To me, all that matters is that you're happy and healthy. I knew you were feeling lonely without your mom and dad around, and I knew you wanted to play outside like all the other children. I should have done more for you. I'm sorry. No, that's not true. I mean, yeah, when I first moved here I was lonely, because I didn't have any friends, and my parents weren't around. But you've always been there for me, Grandma, and now I have a best friend. The two of you mean the world to me. Well, now, that's so way. I'm glad to hear it. I always enjoyed seeing the two of you having fun together. Why are you talking in past tense? You're still gonna be with us, otherwise I'll end up all alone. No, you won't. You've got little Red Riding Hood, don't you? Yeah, but he can't replace you, Grandma. What's with the flowers? Flowers? Oh, yes. Pretty, aren't they? Little Red Riding Hood brought them. He's a good kid, honest and sincere to a fault. I think he's a good fit for you, Wolf. I'm glad the two of you are friends. Me too. That said, he tends to keep things bottled up, and I imagine the loneliness weighs on him a little heavier than most. So I'll need you to get stronger so you can be there for him. He's always there for you, isn't he? So you'd best return the favor. You're right. I'm gonna be there for him. You're such an angel. Of course I am. I'm your grandson after all. I'm so glad he got to see her. So she knew that he was lying to her. So what she said to you, she meant for you. She viewed you as the second grandson, Red. My heart.
She knew I was lying the whole time.
Dude, we can see right through you. You really need to stop underestimating everyone in your life. All of us, me included. We all care about you. We all pay attention. And it's about time you realize that we're here for you, you dumbass. When I was a sickly little kid, my parents sent me to live with my grandma in the countryside so I could recover. I didn't know anybody, and I wasn't well enough to go to school. I was so damn lonely. Then, when I spotted you alone at the lake, I thought to myself, maybe we're birds of a feather. So I tried to talk to you over and over and over. And then, right when I was about to give up, you finally responded. Do you know how excited I was? I was so stoked to finally make friends with you. Being a lone wolf was never cool. Deep down, I wanted someone to hang out with. And you felt the same way, didn't you?
Wolf.
Wolf's tears were contagious, and Red soon began to shed a few of his own.
Yes. You're right. The whole reason I disobeyed my mother and went outside was because I couldn't take the loneliness anymore. Then I met you and your grandmother, and I wasn't alone anymore. So when I heard that grandmother had collapsed, I got so frightened. I thought if something happened to her, I'd end up alone again. But in the end, I ruined everything. I was so alone, and I was so lonely.
Tears rolled down his cheeks as his heart began to defrost.
So you finally admit it. Admit what? To you, that was your real crime. You, my friend, have a guilt complex. A guilt complex? Yeah. You've heard of it, right? It's when you blame yourself to an excessive degree. I'd say it fits you perfectly. After everything that happened in your past, you closed yourself off. You refused to let yourself be happy or even smile. So you rejected joy and chose solitude instead. Like Eureka said, eventually the solitude was going to turn your heart to ice. You were in a precarious position, and that drove you to devise a plan against me. When guilt outweighs forgiveness, it can subconsciously push you to take drastic action. Not only do you become hostile to yourself, but to others as well. You start thinking, it's that person's fault I screwed up. You may have punished yourself harshly for a long time, but that sort of thing doesn't last forever. The human heart wears down over time. So after a while, the only thing keeping you going was your newfound hatred of me. As a hunter, I naturally knew all about you, and I needed to help you before it was too late. That, and it weighed on me that I'd inadvertently contributed to your trauma. That's why I wrote the script for this little storyline, to help you overcome it. Although it seems someone made some heavy edits.
Ah, so you mean the thirst was not part of the storyline? Well, I looked away awkwardly. But then Ryoshi grabbed me by the head and forced me to look at Red.
To cure a guilt complex, you need someone around to forgive you. To forgive me. That's right. Frankly, I had half a mind to skip all this roundabout crap, hunt you down, and set the record straight about Wolf and his grandma myself.
So why didn't you?
But I knew that wouldn't be enough for you to recover.
Is it? Well, I mean, I guess technically it has worked, but... Whew.
Like I said earlier, you've been closed off for a long time now. You wouldn't feel vindicated just knowing the truth. So in order to help you feel truly forgiven, I needed you to come to terms with your own wrongdoing. Conveniently for me, you had just sent us a blackmail letter, so I went ahead and used that to set the stage, as it were. You were waiting for someone to come along and tell you that you're not a bad person. Someone who could accept you as you are. So that's precisely what I prescribed.
Red looked from Wolf to me.
Am I forgiven?
Come on. You know the answer to that better than any of us.
Anyway, the rest is up to you now.
Ryoshi patted me on the head. Don't think I'm gonna forgive you for throwing me on the floor, sir. Right.
Eureka?
I balled my fists in my lap. Then, after a deep breath, I looked Red squarely in the eye. I'm sorry, Red. Regardless of my motive, the fact is, I deceived you. I won't ask you to forgive me, and I won't blame you if you hate my guts for it.
Why should you apologize?
What? This unexpected reply caught me off guard. But it was all an act. Everything. I tricked you. I knew Wolf and Ryoshi were behind a lot of the harassment, but I chose not to tell you. On purpose.
Yes, I understand that. But you wouldn't have gotten involved in the first place had I not sent you the original blackmail letter.
Okay, valid point. Wait, no it isn't.
I'm just glad you're safe.
I had meant to say, I'm a bad person, before he interrupted me. As I stared at him in surprise, he smiled slightly.
Your suffering would be worse than any punishment. What? Miss Arisu? What's the matter?
Tears streaked down my face, one after another. My vision blurred until all I could see was a vaguely red smear. Then I hung my head and choked out. You're just too good to me. Please, call me by my name. I don't know how I found the strength to make that selfish demand at a time like this, but somehow I did.
Eureka.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Could you repeat that?
Eureka!
What is it, Red? I looked up and donned a smile, but my face was still messy with tears, so it must have looked pretty pathetic. I was just so happy that he smiled at me I couldn't stop myself.
Can I ask you one thing?
Sure. What is it?
When you said it was all an act, does that include the time when you said you liked me? Actually, never mind. You don't have to answer that.
Why's that?
I choose to believe it. I'm not smart enough to be skeptical anyway.
Yeah, that's what Alice said. He smiled shyly. Aw, Red. Will you forgive me for my part in the deceit?
Yes, of course I forgive you. And I forgive myself, too.
Red! Aww, so cute. Look at these two. Such beautiful coloring in this one. I like this one. Unable to hold back, I threw my arms around him.
Ugh!
I love you so much!
Eureka! You can't hug me right now. You're soaking wet.
Go ahead and have your nose bleed. I'll be right there to mop it up. Or punch me until I let go. Either way.
I could never punch you. But, we have an audience.
Then consider me an exhibitionist.
Exhibitionist?
You just pictured it, didn't you? You horn dog?
No, I did not picture it. I would never picture anything of the sort. Don't conflate me with a walking libido like you.
Excuse me? You were right there with me when we were reading those porno mags we found in the attic.
What? The best backstory for why he gets nosebleeds over lewd things. The best. The best.
What?
Now I get it. So Wolf's been a bad influence. He looks so proud. Don't worry. Any boyfriend of mine is permitted to dabble in porn magazines no matter how kinky. Wolf's like, dang, what? How did I miss out on this?
What?
For real?
The husband's like, she's not joking. For real?
Come on, Arisu. You ought to ditch this virgin and get with me. I'll show you a way better time, I promise.
Hate to break it to you, Wolf, but I'm not the type to go astray.
Aw, come on. Who cares about the proper path? It's more fun to wander off.
While he's shooting a shot.
That's enough.
Ow!
We're leaving, Wolf.
What? Seriously? But your little sister's about to get her first hot beef injection. Ah!
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so red right now. It's not even funny. I'm as red as Red's riding hood.
I'm gonna dump your ass back in the lake.
Anything but that, dude! For real, I could have died! Achoo!
Hey, Eureka. Do something about that one, would you?
Sure thing. Thanks, Oni-chan. And so, Ryoshi walked off, dragging Wolf by the scruff of the neck. As for Red, he was opening and closing his mouth in rapid succession like a fish washed ashore. Well, looks like it's just the two of us. With my arm still around his neck, I batted my lashes flirtatiously. Yes? With what, though?
Can I touch your mouth?
You mean like a kiss?
A kiss?
What were you... Not exactly, sir. Man. This is like a romance novel cover right here. If he was holding her back. But, like, this pose? Dang. Big fan. Yeah. I'd like that. I pecked him on the lips. What is it they always say afterwards? Thanks for the treat?
What are you saying? I'm a wolf, remember?
I'm not going to stop loving you just because you're a wolf. I mean, sure, your animal side may catch me off guard from time to time, but I'm not entirely opposed. If anything, it's actually kind of endearing.
Endearing?
Ever since the boys told me about you, I was always a little curious. And after spending time with you, I was officially head over heels. So, I asked Wolf to give me a slightly different role to play. You're always so earnest and dutiful. Your shy side is adorable. Your sincerity is sweet. You're just all around lovable.
But... I'm an imbecile. I'm every bit as stupid as Wolf claims. I'm the kind of fool who doesn't realize what matters most until it's gone. On top of that, I deceived you.
I promptly shut him up with my lips. We slowly pulled apart and I smiled. We'll consider that your punishment for lying to me. Now it's your turn to punish me. You sure you're not a masochist? I closed my eyes as if to say, have at it, Tiger.
If anything, that was a reward. The
second kiss apparently exceeded his maximum threshold because he exploded into a nosebleed and passed out. What the? Red! Pull yourself together! Red! Guys, I need help. And now, finally, he shows up.
If only I had never known love, neither then would I know this pain. Who am I quoting, you ask? I'll leave that to your imagination.
I feel like that quote's familiar, but I can't place where it's from.
When Red Riding Hood discovered love, he realized the weight of his loneliness. And when love found him again, he was rescued from solitude. What does it mean to be truly alone?
Would you not curse the world for leaving you to your own devices? Ha ha ha! You're lonely too, is that it? Me? Couldn't tell you. Nevertheless, they lived happily ever after. That's one happy ending down. Aren't you proud?
That's 2, actually, Mr. Wizard. Once upon a time, there lived a lonely little boy. The boy was perpetually isolated. Why? Because his mother had warned him that the outside world was full of wicked wolves, and he wasn't to speak with them. And so he lived hidden away from the world, with no personal connections. But the boy yearned to explore the world, and one day while his mother was away, he snuck out of the house to visit the lake. The outside world was vast and filled with things he'd never seen before, but the boy only ever ventured to the lake alone. It was expected for children his age to attend school, but not him. Then, one day, a boy named Wolf called out to him. The lonely boy remembered his mother's warning and tried to ignore Wolf, but over time he found it hard to believe that the other boy could be wicked. The more they talked, the closer the 2 boys became. Wolf had a poor constitution and lived together with his grandmother. After she met the lonely boy, she sewed him a red riding hood so that he could conceal his unusual appearance from the world. It suited him well, and from that day forward, everyone referred to him as Red Riding Hood. Every day spent with Wolf was a blast for Red Riding Hood. Day after day, he would sneak out of the house to go see him. One day, the 2 boys were playing together when all of a sudden, a man rushed over to them. The man told them grandmother had fallen ill and was looking for her grandson. Then the man grabbed Red Riding Hood's arm instead of Wolf's.
I'm not Wolf.
It should have been an easy feat to correct the misunderstanding, but instead Red Riding Hood left to go visit grandmother in place of Wolf. In doing so, he had betrayed not only his mother, but now Wolf and grandmother as well. When he returned home that night, he was surprised to see that the lights were on. His mother was home. Hesitantly, he opened the door, and inside he found his mother staring at him with cold, distant eyes. After that night, his mother never returned to him again. He cursed himself for disobeying her. If only he hadn't disobeyed his mother and gone astray, he never would have betrayed and ultimately lost everyone he ever cared about. Alone, Red Riding Hood looked at himself in the mirror. Big ears, sparkling eyes, and a deceitful tongue. That was when he realized the real reason his mother had kept him inside was because he himself was a wicked wolf. From then on, Red Riding Hood decided never to get attached to anyone ever again. Instead, he chose a life of quiet solitude. His mother was gone. Wolf and his grandmother were gone. He lived alone, without anyone by his side. He would never go astray again. This was his punishment. Time passed. One sunny day, a much older Red Riding Hood spotted a hunter walking by. As luck would have it, it was the same man who had mistaken him for Wolf that fateful day. The hunter was walking with a princess whose smile was radiant like the sun. Weighed down with crushing loneliness, Red Riding Hood grew unbearably jealous. Then something occurred to him. If he transformed himself into a police officer to protect the princess, he could use her to get close to the hunter. Having successfully wormed his way into the princess's castle, Red Riding Hood attempted to frighten the princess, But nothing worked as planned. Instead, an entirely different big bad wolf started to harass her as well. The more time he spent with her, the more he sincerely wanted to keep her safe. But the more he fell for her, the more guilty he felt for deceiving her. Once he caught the big bad wolf, Red Riding Hood vowed to confess everything to the princess. But the moment he took his eyes off of her, she was kidnapped by the big bad wolf. When he went to the lake to rescue her, there he found a much older wolf holding the princess hostage. As it turned out, Wolf was the other big bad wolf. He ordered Red Riding Hood to admit his crimes in exchange for the princess's safe return. Convinced that his friend resented him for visiting grandmother in his place, Red Riding Hood apologized again and again. But Wolf didn't care. Eventually, Wolf lost patience and tried to hurt the princess. In a panic, Red Riding Hood lunged forward, sending the three of them toppling into the lake. Once Red Riding Hood had rescued the two of them, he apologized for his deceit.
The truth is, I'm a big bad wolf.
At this, the princess's sunny smile clouded over, and she apologized in return. I knew you were deceiving me, and I was deceiving you right back. Then the hunter walked over and revealed the truth. It was all part of an elaborate ploy set up by Wolf, the princess, and the hunter himself. Now an adult, Red Riding Hood was still chained down by the sins of his childhood, and solitude was his miserable punishment. There was only one way to save him: to forgive his crimes. When Wolf told him to admit his crimes, what he really meant was, come to terms with your mistakes. The princess forgave Red Riding Hood for telling lies. And Red Riding Hood forgave her in turn, as well as himself. And so, vindicated by the power of love, Red Riding Hood and the princess lived happily ever after. Oh, he's in color now. It's a little mini Red Riding Hood. Oh, wow. Man, that whole storyline was full of so many twists at the end. That was amazing. I have to give that props for the writing. That was really well done. There were moments with the romance that were nice, but also moments that were not so nice. So that I'm like, I think Cinderella still wins in the romance department for me. I still think him and Eureka make a better couple than Red and Eureka. Like, I feel like the story that was told with Red almost didn't need Eureka, you know? Like, I almost would have enjoyed it more if Eureka wasn't part of that story, and it was just... You kind of needed a character like Eureka, though, where you don't know what's happening. Maybe we could have seen it from Red's perspective. Or I don't know. I really don't know. But, you know, like... I feel that the focus was really on Red and Wolf reconciling after all these years, right? So I guess the Huntsman is like a really good friend to Wolf and wanted to help him out, and also felt bad for the mistake he made so long ago. So like that whole thing I really liked. Even though I'm still a little like, was this really the best plan to get him to overcome his guilt complex? But there is some truth in what Ryoshi said about, I couldn't just tell you the truth because you were so angry and icy that you weren't going to be receptive to hearing it. Even if you recognize it as truth, you were still too angry. So that part is true. I think the biggest thing that probably would have helped is a longer time frame. The fact that it takes place over like 7 days kind of is just nuts. I think if it had been a month, at least a month, like Cinderella's route was, I could have bought his care for Eureka more and same the other way. Man, the amount of thirst in this one, though, was just crazy. Okay, epilogue time. Once upon a time in the looking-glass world, there lived a lonely young man who spent all his days in perfect solitude. He lived hidden away from the world with no personal connections to speak of. But that's all in the past now.
Okay. This time I'm going to say it.
Hello? Who is it?
It is I, Red Riding Hood. Might I intrude upon your domicile?
Intrude away. Red, welcome! You're, rather early. Aww. That's very cute. Very cute indeed. Actually, hold on. I wanna look at your bouquet. Very nice. Did you come in the spring?
Hello there, Eureka. Thank you kindly for inviting me to your tea party.
Of course! Likewise, thanks for coming.
Listen, Eureka!
Yes? What is it?
These are for you!
Wow, what lovely carnations! For me?
Yes. I picked them just for you.
Thank you so much. I love them.
I'm glad to hear it.
Now come on in. I've made your favorite cake, too.
You did?
Yes, the blueberry cake. At least I'm pretty sure that's what Grandmother must have used in her recipe.
For me?
Of course. I promised, didn't I?
Oh, you kept your promise then.
Duh. Any promise I make with you is a promise I want to keep.
Good.
For the record, if you steal me away, I can bake cakes for you anytime you like.
Steal you? No, well,
What's that? Marriage?
No! I can't,
Caw! What are you, a crow?
Fine, whatever.
I'm just messing with you, silly.
Ugh.
Yes?
Wolf and Ryoshi aren't here yet, are they?
Nope. Just you so far.
Good to know. Oh, I mean,
Red? Care to explain why exactly you turned up ahead of time?
Oh, because I didn't want them to get between us.
So you wanted to be alone with me?
Yes. I wanted to be alone with you. Is that a bad thing?
Of course not. Moshiro Daikange.
I see. Glad to hear it. Oh, and also, I'd like to finally give you my formal response to that question.
What question?
The one from back then. Eureka! I love...
Yes?
I love protecting you!
Oh, hi, Cyrus. When did you show up? Should have seen that one coming.
No, that's not what I meant. That was a mistake. Please forget I said it.
Okay. Poof! Memory deleted.
Whew. Now then, allow me to try again.
Okay.
Eureka. I'm in la la la.
Hello?
Ugh, I apologize. That wasn't intentional. I couldn't help it. I'm just not used to this sort of thing. By which I mean to say it's my first time.
Look, Red, you don't have to tell me today. I'll gladly wait until you're ready.
No, that's unacceptable.
Okay. Why is it unacceptable?
Well, you've professed your feelings to me dozens of times now. I need to be a man and set the record straight.
Red.
These carnations.
Hmm?
Do you know what red carnations represent in flower language, Eureka?
Nope. Will you tell me?
In flower language, red carnations represent maternal love, faith in love, and ardent love.
Ardent love?
Yes. Eureka. When I'm with you, I can scarcely breathe, almost like I'm drowning. My heart pounds like crazy and I can't think straight. But it isn't altogether unpleasant. If anything, it's rather fun. And it makes me hunger for more. When we're apart, you're all I can think of, and my chest aches. So I contemplated why this might be. And my conclusion is that I must be quite interested in you. No, that's not quite right. In a blink, I found myself obsessed with you. Eureka!
Yes?
I love you! I'm crazy about you! Just as you have kept your promise to me, I vow to keep my promise to you. I will protect you. I will keep you safe from all the world's sadness and pain. And I will make you just as happy as you've made me. So please, forgive me for this.
Wow. Red? Was that?
This is your punishment for deceiving me. Well, indirectly through the flowers anyway. Now we're even, wouldn't you say?
Did you kiss her through the carnations? Amazing.
What's wrong? Your face is redder than a tomato. Is this yet another fever?
My chest aches and I can't breathe.
That sounds serious. I'd better take you to bed at once.
Absolutely. Bed? Oh no, she caught it. She caught the nosebleed disease.
Huh? Eureka! Eureka!
And they lived happily ever after. Oh, he's got a little basket of flowers. That's sad, though. He's all by himself in the end picture. Cinderella had his dance with Eureka. Red's like, I just need my carnations, and that's fine. And it doesn't even change this one. Damn. Cinderella was really like, no, I have the superior one. Oh my goodness. It wasn't until that ending scene where Red, like, chickened out of saying I love you that I just realized we're in a gender bend Elk Creed and Cyrus relationship. And that's why I'm like, I don't know about this one. It's a little uncomfortable, you know? And that's why I was the Elk Creed in this situation. Now I want an AU where Elk Creed and Eureka just have so much fun teasing Cyrus and Red. Maybe Cyrus could... Cyrus is like bold though, she doesn't get nosebleeds. Maybe she could help Red out. That would be nice.
I can dream. Well, guys, that is the end of Red's Route. I did really enjoy it. Not so much romance-wise, but the overall story and the theme of forgiveness was really sweet. And it ended up not being as sad as I thought, because thankfully Wolf did see his grandmother, so phew. For a second, I thought Grandma actually lived. But she was too sick. But still, I'm glad he got to say goodbye to her, and... Man, that twist at the end. And then, so Alice knows everything, according to him, which is interesting. We got a little more stuff to chew on, guys. Couple more tiny puzzle pieces to add to our collection, so that was fun. With that, I think there's 3 bad endings for Red. Yeah, I think Cinderella had 4, I think Red has 3. So, I'll be doing those next, probably getting chastised by the wizard. So, should be fun. Hopefully I'll see you there for that, guys. Thanks very much for joining me for this. And until next time, I will see you later.